Hey guys, welcome to the channel, and today we are going to be doing more hand tracking. If you haven't seen my video where I actually built this, what you can see on the screen, the hand tracking, I strongly recommend you to watch that. I'll link it down here. So basically what we did, and the camera that you can see on the screen is my iPhone camera. I have connected it there. And basically what you can see is it is tracking my hand. And in today's video, I want to take this a bit further. And what I'm going to do is you can control your cursor using the hand tracking like this. And then with a pinch, you'll be able to click on things. So let's get started. So here's my cursor app, right? And if I run this, it basically track both of my hands, right? But we don't want to track both hands. We only want to track one hand because that's how we're going to control the cursor. So for that, what we are going to do is you can see the max number hands there. I'm using MediaPipe and for like the hand tracking and for the getting the image from the camera and everything, I'm using OpenCV. So I'm just gonna change this to one, max number of hands into one. Close this, run it again. You can see like, it's only tracking one at a time, right? Also, if if you don't have any idea what this is right now, I highly recommend you go watch the previous video, right? The other thing I'm going to do is that we don't need this resolution, um, this much resolution. So I'm just going to change this to 640 and let's say 480, right? Start this again. All right, it's not opening up. Let me check. Yeah, open up now. So you can see, right, um the resolution and the resolution basically dropped down, right? Okay, great. So now we have to track the camera. So now we have to track the hand basically to control the cursor. Let's do that. So for that, we are going to track the hand, and there is no single point to track the hand. So what we are going to do is we're going to sum up some of these points and then find their average mean and then use that for tracking the mouse, right? Also for controlling the mouse, we are going to need another package called Pi Auto GUI. So we're going to use that. Let me go ahead and install it. So pip install Pi Auto GUI. Yeah, install. And it's basically installing that package, installed it. So let me import that, import Pi Auto GUI. Right now, let's basically track these things. So we also don't need to like show any circle or anything. So I'm just gonna remove that from here. Let's remove this as well. And once we remove this, let's see how that looks. So I'm gonna start the app again. It's taking some time. Maybe because we just installed the new package. Right? So you can see, it's still tracking, but there is no text or anything rendering. So what we're going to do is we are going to, sum these points. So let's do that. So the points that we're going to sum is going to be, we are going to name it the palm IDs. So palm, let's do this. Palm IDs equal to 0. That will be the landmark point. So if you look at the, if I, you know, show you the previous code, you can see, the landmarks, right? So basically landmarks are the points, um, those red points that you can see, right? So what we are going to do is going to get those palm IDs, and it will be going to be 0, right? 5, 9, 13, and 17. Right? So we have all the palm IDs, and what we're going to do is we're going to sum them and then divide them by the number, which is 5, and basically we'll get their average X or Y. Okay, so we're going to do that, right? So let's do that here. So we're going to say CX. This will be the X for the cursor. So CX equal to sum of hand land landmarks dot landmark id dot x, and then we're going to run the loop for id in palms ids divided by the length of palm ids, right? So basically what we are doing is we are um, basically finding the average x here, right? And it should be hand landmarks. And the same thing we'll do for the CY. So some hand landmark dot Y for ID is palm ID and this. And then let's say we are going to draw a circle there, right? So let's draw a circle. Image CY10. This is the coordinate. This is the radius. This is the color. And this is like, show the circle basically, right? Now let's try to run this and see if that works. Okay. Closed. All right. So we did the CY. It should be CV2 dot circle, right? All right. So the reason is that, we get the CX and CY, but we have to multiply that with the width of the screen to show that it at the, the center, right? So, right. So let's do that. So this will be CX into W and CY into H. Also, you have to convert this into int because it doesn't take a float value. So let's convert this into int, right? So we are basically drawing a circle at that point. The reason we are dividing it into width and height because this gives us a number between 0 and 1, right? So we are multiplying that with the width and height to get the exact x and y. So let's open this up. And you can see, right, that circle in the center of my palm here, right? Which we will use to move the cursor. Okay, great. All right, so we have this now. What we are going to do is using um the Pi Auto GUI, we're going to move the cursor. But before that, we have to somehow map the resolution, which is the 640 and 480, right? The camera resolution to the screen, because screen is going to be the big thing, the bigger one, right? So we need to first map our camera pixels to the screen pixels, right? So let's do that. So for that, we need to get the screen width and height. So we are going to use that screen width height, Pi Auto GUI.size. So it's basically get the screen size. Once we did that, let's move our cursor. So what we are going to do is this. So Pi Auto GUI dot move to, let's say, int cx into screen width, and that's int cy into screen height as well, and the duration will be 0. So basically that means like instantly move to the, you know, basically the point. And the reason we are doing cx and cy is just to convert, for example, in 640 and 6 whatever, um, it's there, right? So to multiply, when we multiply it with the width and height, it basically normalize to that x and y point. Same thing we are doing here, right? So let's do that. Let's run this. And you can you see the mouse moving? I don't know if you're able to see, but right now it's on my camera window here, and here you can see it moving. But if you see, like, it, even like my hand moves a little bit, it moves, there's like a jitter, right? Even if my hand is steady, it still moves. So we are going to like solve that, but this is cool, right? So I can control the mouse using my hand, right? Okay, so that is cool. Uh, Now what I want to do is, there is this jitter, like even if my hand is steady, it's still like jittering around. So I want to like stabilize that, and for that, what we're going to do is define a drop zone, and basically what that drop zone or dead zone, whatever you want to call it, basically what it does is like, if your hands move out of that range, then only move the mouse, right? So for example, if it's moving like this, like, very steadily, it is okay, don't move the mouse. But if it moves like this, then move the mouse, all right? So let's do that. So for that, we are going to define a, let's say, dead zone, and let's define that by x10, right? So if it's 10x and 10y, if it moves more than that, then move the mouse, okay? Right? And now we also want to track if it moved in the next frame. So what we need is the previous x and y. So for example, if my hand is there, this is the x and y, and if I move, then I have to compare the new and the old um, uh, axes, right? Like the x and y. So let's do that. So I'm going to define previous x and previous y, right? Let's say as 0, 0. Or we can also set them at the center of the screen. I think that will be much better. So screen width divided by 2 and height. So basically center them in. And then what we are going to do is go here, and we are going to say, what we are going to do is first and foremost move this out because we need this variable. So what we are going to do is we're going to define a screen x here, which is screen width and screen height, and change this to screen x, screen y. And then we're going to define a dx, which is going to be the new distance, right? And what we're going to say, screen x minus previous x. So basically what we are doing is we are checking if the, so for example, if my hand was here, I moved it here, we are basically minusing the, subtracting the values and checking if it moved much or not, right? And same for dy. And then we're going to say, if math dot hypot dx dy is more than the dead zone, then only move the, um, the UI, which is move here, which is move it here, and also reset the previous x equal to screen x and previous equal to screen y. The reason we are doing this is because now, so this is the previous one, we moved here, now the mouse moved, then we want this to be the previous one for the next update, right? So we also need to import math here. Now let's see if that fixes what we were trying to do. So now you can see it's much more stable. It's still like moving, but it's much more stable. So if I move it here, you'll be able to see. So you can see like the dot is moving, but you can see like the cursor is not moving. So dot is moving, jittering, but the cursor is not moving. So it's much more um, easier to use because it's not constantly moving around, right? So you can see. So you can see the dot moving, but not the cursor. So that is cool. Um, Now let's close this up. Okay. Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this circle because we don't need it. And also we don't need the landmarks, to be honest. So we'll just remove that as well. We need the hand landmarks, but we just don't need the um, this. We also need this to be inside this. Right. Now let's run this. So you can see the mouse moving, right? Pretty good. But now we want the pinch thing to work, right? The select thing to work. So it should be selecting things up, right? So let's do that. And for that, what we're going to do is basically, compare the distance between the tip and the thumb. Basically the tip of the index and the tip of the thumb. And we're going to basically use that to click. All right, so the first thing first, what we're going to do is we're going to take um, the landmarks for these. So for that, what we're going to do is this. The index tip is equal to be landmarks dot landmark 8, and the thumb will be the fourth, right? So this is the landmark that we need. So both the tip, we got them, and we are just going to um, basically see like how much they moved, right? And the other thing that we need is like how much close they need to be to determine if we have to click, right? So I'm going to define that to be, let's say, pinch. I'm just going to say pinch, pinch, let's say threshold or pinch start, let's say, right? Equal to maybe let's say 30, and that will be the basically the distance between them. So let's do that. So here we are going to say ix and iy, which is the index, right? And tx and ty, which is going to be the distance, the x and y for the thumb, but we have to multiply them with the width and height, right, of the camera because that's how we're going to normalize them. So let's do that here. The same thing we are doing with the um, CX here, right? So let's do that. Into width and this into height, the same thing. Uh, Here, so int thumb into x into width, same thing here. And then we need the pinch distance, equal to math dot hypot ix minus tx right? And Iy minus Ty. So basically the distance between them, right? Um, so we basically get that if pinch distance is smaller than pinch start, which is a good thing. That means the pinch is like much more closer than what we said. Then do the click, else do not do anything, right? Um, right. So basically pinch, right? Click, right? So let's check if all of this works. So I'm gonna start the script, right? And I'm moving my mouse here. And if I click right here, this should hide because the screen in the background, which is the cursor screen, should come forward. And that worked. So you can see I'm able to click around, right? Let's say, for example, I will go down and click on, let's say, my Comet browser, and you can see my browser. And I can just go here on this and click on this to go here, or, you know, go to this demo, go to, let's say, not able to move here. Yeah, index.html, click on this. This is working out pretty good. I go to demo, click on this, go to high element JS, click on this, and it works. That is great. Click, I go here, click on this. It's work. I'm going to click on cursor screen. Great. Going to click on the terminal and I'm going to do it. Control C. It works. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Again, to basically go through everything, what we did is we basically tracked the hand using the mean average of the points of our palm, able to move it around, and then using that, we were able to move the cursor around, and then using the distance between our index and thumb, we were able to simulate a click. I hope you liked the video, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one.